let's wrap up this Friday edition of the show with the mailbag question of the day. This is actually from yesterday. We didn't get to it, but I think it's kind of fun. Nice way to send us into the weekend from @BeansAndBikes. Basically, the only thing I want is Draisaitl on the Flyers. If Michkov is coming over and needs a 1C, could the Flyers pull off a trade? And he suggests Frost Farabee, 2 first-round picks this year, etc., this summer to get Draisaitl with a predetermined contract extension.
I mean, the first thing I want to say is
it's
that...
not going to be Frost and Farabee.
No, it would be more.
It's going to be Bonk and...
It would be a lot more. But what I'll say about this is that the only way that Edmonton is trading Draisaitl is if Draisaitl communicates to them that he is unlikely to re-sign or he is going to test the market. I cannot envision a scenario where they would, and you can, I guess, make the argument that, well, they'd be better off trading Draisaitl and then building a stronger team around McDavid with the cap space. I get that argument. I just don't agree with it. I think they are absolutely better served keeping Draisaitl and McDavid together and just keep throwing that at the wall because eventually it's going to stick. Like, that's my thought. Look, if Draisaitl tells them after the playoff run that, like, I want to go elsewhere, then yeah, sure. But the problem with that is that if he tells them that, then the only teams he's going to really, like, when you're in a situation like this, where theoretically a guy is like, he has one more year left on his deal, because that's the whole concept, is that he's theoretically a free agent in 2025, correct?
Yeah.
That's his contract situation. If he tells Edmonton, I don't really want to re-sign in Edmonton, I want to be the alpha on a team, I want to run my team, I don't want to be the Robin to McDavid's Batman anymore, whatever. I'm sick of living in Edmonton, I want to go somewhere else. Presumably in that situation, the only teams that are going to trade for him are teams that are confident that he will sign with them. Would he be willing to sign with the Flyers? I don't know, but that is something that would have to be confirmed before the Flyers give up the kind of package that it would require to get Draisaitl. Like, so is there a scenario where Draisaitl at the end of this playoff run says, I want to go somewhere else, and then through back channels, the Flyers find out that he's one of the 5 teams that he would consider signing an extension with? Then yeah, I mean, sure, you have a chance to get Leon Draisaitl. Let's talk. Let's see what it'll cost. But there are a lot of things that would have to happen. Like, this is not a situation where, like, the Flyers can just call up Edmonton on June 16th and be like, hey, what's it going to cost to get Leon Draisaitl? Like, there are a lot of things that would have to play out for that to even be a possibility. Can't rule out the fact that those things could happen. Just, like, don't get your hopes up.
I would say... For Edmonton to be at all interested in something like this, I can see, okay, Edmonton's in the second round right now. Let's say they beat winner of Vancouver, Nashville, and then
they could win the cup this year.
Say it's Colorado, Edmonton in the Western Conference Final, and Colorado kind of treats them the way they have the last few years. They win 4-1.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these overreact teams. They're nowhere like Toronto. Maybe they start thinking we need a depth team more than we need these 2 guys. Because we have this one guy, and he's going to be awesome no matter what.
Right.
What if we can get 3 dudes and some other things for Draisaitl? Like, I can see... I'm not saying it's smart, but I can see that. Like, that's the scenario that has to play out for it to be even on the table.
Yeah, but do the Flyers have those dudes? Like if you're trading Draisaitl, in theory, it's like, well, we're trading Draisaitl to replace him with 2 guys who can provide more value than Draisaitl can provide. Like, is Travis Konechny and Joel Farabee enough? And then in that case, you'd have to get confirmation that Konechny would be interested in re-signing with the Oilers, so he's not just a 1-year rental. I'm not saying it's not.
They don't have the
possible.
assets to make it happen.
I am skeptical that the Flyers would be able to pull it off unless, and again, I don't quite know why he would say this, but unless Draisaitl is like, yeah, I want to leave and I only want to go to Philly. Like, hell, stranger things have happened, I guess, but
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
That would be fucking insane. Like, I'm sure something crazier has happened than that, but what? Yeah, this dude who has no connection.
Yeah.
I really look good in the orange.
Yeah, he just loves that orange color.
We've gone back to the primary blue, and I miss having all that orange, and I want it back. Like, with that, who the fuck? Edmonton's the kind of team that the Flyers don't have the assets to make a trade with, because it's like seems unlikely. We need to be good right now. Like, if it was a bad team that's considering rebuilding, but they have a couple of high-end dudes, like that I can see because we have the future assets.
Yeah, I mean, like, and there are ways you could figure it out. Like, if Travis Konechny said, yes, I would be willing to sign with Edmonton, and then you were willing to throw in Cam York and then 2 firsts, like, yeah, maybe. Because they could be like, hey, we got a left-handed defenseman to pair with Evan Bouchard forever, who isn't Darnell Nurse. And then Konechny is a cheaper impact. He's an impact guy, but he's going to come $4 million a year cheaper than Draisaitl. And then you throw in some first-round picks, and the Flyers might stink. So, hey, maybe they'll be high picks. Like, yeah, that could maybe turn their heads. But again, there's a lot of things that would have to happen for that to even be a possibility. Namely, Draisaitl would have to decide he doesn't want to re-sign at Edmonton. And usually these guys want to stay where they're at, especially if you're Leon Draisaitl and you're playing on a team that every year has the chance to win a cup and you're playing with the best player of your generation. I'm not quite sure why he would want to leave. I don't know.
If he was maybe if he was Russian instead of German. Like, actually, him and Michkov go way back. Like, he was the older guy on the team. Like, but no, they have there's nothing there.
Yeah,
like, I can't think of a scenario where it works.
You can't rule it out entirely because it's hockey. And you know what? Keep living the dream. Keep dreaming the dream.
Keep Michkov mania running wild.
Keep dreaming the dream. I'm just saying, don't expect the game plan to be targeting Leon Draisaitl.
Every fan base in hockey is targeting Draisaitl. Well, they can't keep them together forever.
They sure can.
Yeah, they can. Malkin and Crosby have been together for 20 years.
Yeah. We all silly like the mayor.